Good morning, students. Welcome to the live session of Learning Merchant of Venice. Today, I'm here to explain you Act 4, Scene 1. We will be dealing with this scene today. I have posted one video already on this scene, and you will see that what are the developments in the plot further on in this scene. As the scene is set in Venice, a court of justice. Here we have the Duke, the Magnifos, Antonio, Bassanio, Celerino and others. So I have already discussed with you that what had happened, all the merchants have come here, the court is set to give decision, and there is a conversation going on between Bassanio, Antonio, Gratiano, and all the characters are communicating amongst themselves. And in the meantime, when certain decisions are given, Shylock is earnestly waiting for the decision, and in the meantime he was sharpening his knife in order to take a pound of flesh, as he is adamant, as he is obdurate that he wants the forfeiture. Let's continue with the lines as you will find it in your text. Gratiano says, "O be thou damned inexecrable dog, and for thy life let justice be accused. Thou almost makest me waver in my faith to hold opinion with Pythagoras, that souls of animals infuse themselves into the trunks of men. Thy currish spirit governed wolf, who hanged for human shelter, even from the gallows did his fell soul fleet, and willest thou layest in thy unhallowed dam, infuse itself in thee, for thy desires are wolfish, bloody, starved and ravenous." Let us see it in the conversation. He says that you will be damned, you will be cursed, you shameless man. He calls him merciless dog. Justice should be blamed by allowing a person like you to live. He says that because of your behavior, you are making me doubt over my own religion, and I have started holding opinion with Pythagoras. Pythagoras is the same man, okay? You might have studied in a mathematics Pythagoras theorem. He's a mathematician and a scholar and a philosopher. So he says that you have made me believe in his philosophy, according to which it is believed that the souls of animals enter humans, and such people in whom these souls get infused, they start behaving like animals. So he just says that your soul is governed by that of an evil spirit, and that's why your desires are wolf-like. He then says that these lines, that souls of animals infuse themselves in the trunks of men. Thy currish spirit governed a wolf, and your spirit is governed by that of a wolf who was being hanged, okay, because he has killed somebody. In that meantime, when he was going to be hanged, his soul escaped from his body and it entered into the womb of your mother. It is just said, unholy mother, unhallowed dam, when you were in your mother's belly and you were not stillborn, okay? And that's why your spirit is governed by that of a wolf, and that is the reason your desires are wolf-like, okay? Bloody, bloodthirsty, starved and hungry. You are ravenous, you are hungry, you need to have somebody's blood. Shylock just continues this by saying, "Till thou canst rail the seal from off my bond, thou but offendest thy lungs to speak so loud. Repair thy wit, good youth, or it will fall to cureless ruin. I stand here for law." He just says that why are you creating trouble within yourself by using such filthy, abusive language? You are yourself destroying the legal safeguard from my agreement. You are hurting yourself. You are hurting your lungs by being so loud in speaking all these things. Come to your senses. You should come to your own senses, young man. You are destroying yourself. Repair your ideas. Repair your thought. I am here only to get justice. I am here only to claim justice. The Duke in the meantime says that this letter from Bellario doth commend a young and learned doctor to the court. Where is he? The Duke says that in the letter it is mentioned that there will be a doctor coming. Where is he? Nerissa just says he attendeth here hard by to know your answer, whether you will admit him. Nerissa says that he's already waiting here, waiting for your response, whether you will allow him or not. Duke says, with all my heart, some 3 or 4 of you go him, give him courteous conduct to this place. Meantime, the court shall hear Bellario's letter. The Duke says that I have given permission, I give my full consent. Call that person. 3-4 of you go and bring him with great regard, with lot of courtesy. Meantime, everyone sitting in the court will listen to the letter which has come from the Duke. The letter reads, if you listen carefully, you will be able to make out that what it is. Your Grace shall understand that at the receipt of your letter I am very sick. It is just written by Bellario that the moment the letter from the Duke reached, he was not well, he was unhealthy. But in the instant that your messenger came, in loving visitation was with me a young doctor of Rome. His name is Balthazar. He says that at the moment when I received your letter, I was not well. Okay, he was unwell. But at that moment itself, somebody was visiting him and he was sitting with him at that time, and he is a young doctor of Rome, doctor of laws, okay, don't get confused. He was a legal advisor, a lawyer sitting with him. His name is Balthazar. He introduces that his name is Balthazar. I acquainted him with the cause and controversy between the Jew and Antonio the merchant. He says that I have discussed that what was the cause of controversy which holds between Antonio and the Jew, that is Shylock. We turned over many books together. He said that we have discussed over this together. Okay, over this case. He is furnished with my opinion. He says that I have already told him about what opinions do I hold, which bettered with his own learning. If he has did a lot of learning in this, and he has bettered it with his own intelligence. The greatness whereof I cannot enough commend comes with him. At my opportunity, says that I won't be able to reach here, but if at all you allow him there, that his experience, his intelligence will reach there. To fill up your Grace's request in my stead, he will fill your request from my part instead of me. I beseech you, I request you, let his lack of years be no impediment to let him lack a reverend estimation. He says, although he will look very young. Okay, so his lack of years means his lack of practice, okay, should not act as a barrier in his intelligence to estimate him low. For I never knew so young a body with so old a head. He says that I have never known such an intelligent person in my whole life. I leave him to your gracious acceptance, whose trial shall better publish his commendation. He says that I leave it up to you whether you will accept him or not, but his trial, if you allow him to try once, it will show you and all the persons in the court his that he is a capable one. Duke says that all of you have heard the learned Bellario, what he has written in the letter, and here I take it is the doctor come, and he says that I take it that the doctor has arrived. Now Portia, as we already know that she has disguised herself as a doctor of law, enters dressed in the court of justice. Give me your hand, come you from old Bellario. They shook hands. Portia, I did, my lord. Duke, you are welcome. He just welcomes Portia. He takes that, take your place, and he also asks her whether she is acquainted with the difference that holds this present question in the court, whether she knows about the case that is between Shylock and Antonio. Portia says, I am informed thoroughly of the cause, which is the merchant here and which the Jew. She inquires that she very well knows that what is the cause of conflict, and she wants to clarify who is the merchant and who is the Jew, means who is Antonio and who is Shylock. Duke just asks Antonio and old Shylock, both of them, to stand in front. Shylock just, Portia just says, is your name Shylock? She confirms. Shylock very proudly, okay, he says, Shylock is my name. Portia just says, of a strange nature is the suit you follow. Yet in such a rule that the Venetian law cannot impugn you as you do proceed, you stand within his danger, do you not? He says that the cause of conflict is very strange, for which you have come in the court to get justice. She just says that in the way the Venetian court cannot deny you the sort of justice you want. He just says that, she just says that still the law of Venice cannot find faith in your case. Still, and then she turns to Antonio and confirms that you stand within his danger, do you not? Is that you the person who is in his danger? Antonio says yes, so he says yes as he says. Portia, do you confess the bond? Do you accept the bond? Antonio says yes, I do. Portia, then must the Jew be merciful? She says that should the Jew show some mercy, kindness, benevolence? Shylock, oh, on what compulsion must I? Tell me that. He says that I am not compelled to show mercy. On what compulsion do you want me to be merciful? Now to tell you children, Shakespeare is very popular for his mercy speech. That is in the play Merchant of Venice. When we talk of mercy, the speech is always taken up into consideration. Okay, this is one of the best speech written by Shakespeare. And Portia here becomes a speaker of the speech, and she talks about showing mercy, that how it is an attribute, how it is a quality that makes somebody great if a person is bestowed with the quality of mercy. Let's see what it is. Portia, the quality of mercy is not strained. Okay, Portia says that the quality of mercy cannot be forced. We cannot force somebody to show mercy. It droppeth as a gentle rain from heaven. It drops freely as the rain drops from heaven. In the similar way, the quality of mercy drops from heaven on earth below, upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. The quality of mercy has a double blessings. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. It has the power of double blessing. It blesses the person who gives as well as the person who receives. It's mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throne monarch better than his crown. The quality of mercy, is the quality of the most powerful person. It is a nobler quality in a royal king that crowns more than the crowns he wears. His spectre shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty. It is just said, his spectre is a golden rod in the hands of a king. That is shown that he is a king, and it is his temporary power on the earth. So it is said that his spectre symbolizes the earthly power which a man's characteristic of a king who commands awe and just that line you see, awe and majesty. It gives him power and grandeur. But mercy is above this spectred sway. It is just said, but mercy is above this earthly power. Okay, it is a noble quality from the heart of the king. It is enthroned in the heart of the king. It is an attribute to God himself. This quality of mercy is the quality of Almighty. It is the quality of God which is imbibed in the king from the heavens divine. Therefore an earthly power doth then show likest God when mercy seasons justice. He says the power of king becomes most divine, most godly in his working when justice is accompanied with or along with mercy. If you're merciful, if you're kind, while showing justice, you become like God on earth. So she just says that therefore Jew, thou justice be thy plea. Consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. She just says, so Jew, although you demand what is due to you in the name of justice, remember that if at all, God also tried to give us justice according to the deeds of humans, none of us would be saved on this earth. Okay. Should we see salvation? We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. She says that we pray to God Almighty to be merciful, and that same prayer teaches us also to be kind, to be merciful. Okay, to show mercy to others. She further on says, I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, the strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there. She says, I have said a lot to soften your heart, Jew, in order to claim justice. But if at all you continue to demand for justice, this strict court of Venice will have to pass sentence against the merchant here. This court will have to give you justice. I hope this mercy speech is clear. Portia requests Shylock to show mercy. She has given the virtues, the quality of mercy, that how it makes a king or a person more divine than seeking for justice. If it is accompanied with mercy, it becomes more beautiful. It becomes a power of God. Okay. This was asked for ICSE boards exam. If you will turn back to the see the question paper of the previous years, you will see that mercy speech was asked in your extract type question. So you can go through it further on when we will be having revision classes for the play. We will see these questions, we will deal with that, we will discuss that. You can also, while preparing this act itself, you can go through those questions. Shylock just after this, Shylock says that my deeds upon my head, I crave the law, the penalty and forfeit of my bond. He says, let whatever be the consequences of my deeds, I am ready to face. I want penalty. I seek the penalty allowed by the law, because he has broken the contract, he has broken the agreement. Portia, is he not able to discharge the money? She again confirms that is he not able to give you back the money that he has taken? What was the amount? It was 3,000 ducats. Is he not able to pay you back? Bellario, there itself, he says, yes, here I tender it for him in the court, yet twice the sum. If that will not suffice, I will bound to pay it 10 times over, on the forfeit of my hands, my heart, my head. If this will not suffice, it must appear that malice bears down truth. And I beseech you, rest once the law to your authority, to do a great right, do a little wrong, and corrupt this cruel devil of his will. Bellario says here that yes, in presence of everyone, each one in the court, I am prepared to pay him double the amount. And if that is also not sufficient, I will pay him 10 times more the amount. And if I fail to do so, I shall forfeit my hands, my head and my heart. And if that is also not sufficient, then it appears that malice is destroying honesty. There is something which is destroying the truth. He just says, so I request you to use, he is requesting Portia that to use her own authority, use her own power and make certain alterations, make certain modification in the course of law. He just says that I request you to do greater justice, to show more justice, make some changes, do some small irregularity by depriving the cruel devil of fulfilling his wish. He's saying that stop him to fulfill his desire. Okay, we should move further on. What Portia says, she just says, it must not be. There is no power in Venice can alter a decree established. She says that what is already set, what is already established, no one has the power to make any change in that. It will be recorded for a precedent. She says that whatever justice will be given on such a case will be recorded. And once an error by the same example will rush into the state. She says that if at all people follow the same way, then so many mistakes, so many errors will enter into the functioning of the state, and she cannot do any changes. It cannot be. Court of record, all of you know that, no? In civics you might have studied about Supreme Court. In the similar way, you can, she says that it will be recorded. Further on, if such cases will come, people will turn back and look at the justice given. So may be possible that if there are made any alteration, things will be difficult. Errors will come in the state, mistakes will come in the running of the state. So there cannot be made any alteration, any modification, or no irregularity can be done. Shylock is too happy. He says it seems that everything is in his favor. So he says, "A Daniel, come to judgment. Yea, a Daniel. O wise young judge, how do honor thee." He says Daniel over here is a man from Old Testament. He was known for his judgment. Okay, he was very much praised for his judgment. So he says that a Daniel has come to give judgment. O wise young judge, how do I honor thee? He says that how should I give you respect? How should I honor you? Because she was, as a lawyer, she was giving all the benefits to Shylock. Okay, Portia, I pray you, let me look upon the bond. She says that I want to go to visualize the bond again. Here it's most reverend doctor, here it is. He's very happy. He just shows the agreement. Portia, Shylock, they are thrice I moneyed offered thee. She says that they are ready to offer you thrice the amount. Shylock, an oath, I have an oath in heaven. Shall I lay perjury upon my soul? No, not for Venice. He says, no, I have taken a vow, I have taken a promise in front of God. Shall I commit the sin of breaking that oath? No, I'm not going to break the oath for the sake of Venice. In order to save Venice, I'm not going to break that and lay sin on my soul. Portia, why this bond is forfeit? She says, well, the penalty in this bond is due, and the Jew lawfully, by this the Jew may claim a pound of flesh, and by legal means the Jew can claim to have a pound of flesh, to be by cut off nearest the merchant heart, and as it is mentioned, he can have that pound of flesh from the merchant's heart. Be merciful, he says that. She again says that be kind. Take thrice thy money, bid me tear the bond. She says that you take thrice the amount and let me tear the bond. Shylock, when it is paid according to the tenor, it doth appear you are a worthy judge. You know the law, your exposition hath been most sound. He says, only after it is paid according to the tenor, as the terms of the bond, you seem, he's appreciating Portia, he says that you seem to be an impartial judge, knowing the law and applying it effectively. You know the law very well, and you know how to effectively work on it. I request you, in the name of the legal system of which you are our authority, he just says that you know the law, your exposition hath been most sound. You have been giving a very practical solution of the law. You are the member, you are a well-deserving pillar. Proceed to judgment. He says that give me judgment. By my soul I swear there is no power in the tongue of man to alter me. He says that proceed, pass your judgment. I swear by my soul that nothing that man can say will change me now, change my mind. There is no one so powerful, no one in the court who can alter me, change my tongue. I stay here for my bond. He says that I am adamant, I am strict that I want my bond. Antonio, most heartily I do beseech the court to give judgment. He says that most heartily I am ready to accept. Most humbly I am ready to accept whatever the judgment will be. Portia, why then? Thus it is, you must prepare your bosom for his knife. Portia says, then be ready. Prepare your bosom to give a pound of flesh. Shylock, oh noble judge. He's very happy. Oh excellent young man. Portia, for the intent and purpose of the law hath full relation to the penalty, which here appeareth due upon the bond. Portia just says the meaning and the scope of law fully applies to such a penalty as it is mentioned in the bond, as it is in the agreement. Shylock is too happy. Again he says, it's very true. You are so wise and upright judge. How much more elder art thou than thy looks. He's praising Portia that you're an excellent judge, because she was giving all the response and judgment in Shylock's favor. So he says that you are looking so excellent. You are elder than your looks. Your intelligence is more than your experience. Portia, therefore lay bare your bosom. Portia asked Shylock to lay bare his bosom. Shylock, his breast, so says the bond. Doth it not, noble judge, nearest his heart? Those are the very words. Shylock just repeats. He says that I want the pound of flesh near to his heart. Okay, and those are the very words. Portia, is it so? Are there balance here to weigh the flesh? Portia just says that, is the balance kept here to weigh his flesh? You are ready to take a pound of flesh, you should have a balance also to weigh whether it's found or not. Shylock, I have them ready. Portia, have by some surgeon Shylock on your charge to stop his wound, lest he do bleed to death. Portia also says that you should have a surgeon also, because when you will take a pound of Antonio's flesh, then he will bleed, and in order to stop his wound, you need to have a surgeon who will stop his bleed. Shylock, is it nominated in the bond? He says, is it mentioned in the bond? Portia, it is not so expressed, but what of that? It were good you do so much for charity. Portia says that no, it is not mentioned in the bond, but in order to be more charitable, you should have a doctor here, you should show some mercy, you should show some charity. Shylock, I cannot find it, it's not in the bond. Portia, you merchant, have you anything to say? Portia then ask Antonio that, have you anything to say? Children, just listen carefully, and it's important, okay, what reply Antonio gives before giving a pound of flesh. But little, I'm armed and well prepared. He says, very little, I'm ready and well prepared. Give me your hand, Bassanio. Fare you well. He asks Bassanio, he says, give me your hand, Bassanio. Farewell. Grieve not that I am fallen to this for you. He says that don't be upset that I am in this situation because of you. For herein fortune shows herself more kind than in her custom. He says, here fortune, my destiny, is more kind to me than it is generally. It is still her use to let the wretched man outlive his wealth, to view with hollow eye and wrinkled brow an age of poverty, from which lingering penance of such misery does she cut me off. She says that it's in the habit of fortune, when a man is poverty stricken, he has lost all his wealth, he is allowed to survive, and he grows lean, thin, he becomes hollow. Okay, and he suffers. Lingering penance means there is a prolonged suffering. Okay, suffered. Fortune has allowed me, cut me of such misery. He has said that if I will be taken away, my life will be taken away, I will not be suffering such things. So fortune is great. Okay, further on he says, commend me to your honorable wife. Tell her the process of Antonio's end. He says that talk to your wife about me. Tell her about me. Tell her the process, how I died. Say how I loved you. He says that you speak to her that how much love I had for her. You. Speak me fair in death. He says that after my death, be fair. And when the tale is told and when the story is narrated, bid her be the judge and let her decide whether Bassanio had not once a love, how Bassanio was loved by his friend. Repent but you that you shall lose your friend, and he repents not that he pays your debt. He says, then don't be upset. Do not repent that I am dying for you, and I will also not repent that I am dying for you, paying your debt. For if the Jew do cut up deep enough, I will pay it presently with all my heart. He says that if the Jew, if Shylock is able to penetrate deep enough and cut properly, I am ready to pay the penalty with all my heart. Bassanio says, his words of friendship and love is expressed. He says, Antonio, I'm married to a wife which is as dear to me as life itself. Bassanio says, Antonio, I have been married to a girl which is very much dear to me. I love her more than life itself. But life itself, my wife, my life itself and all the world are not with me esteemed above thy life. I do not respect you more than your life. I would lose all. He says that I am ready to sacrifice all of them, even my life, even my wife. Here to this devil to deliver you. I am ready to sacrifice everything in order to save you from this evil man here. Okay, Portia was listening the conversation. We know that she is Portia, okay, and disguised herself in the doctor of laws, as a doctor of laws, Balthazar. Portia says your wife would give you little thanks for that if she were by to hear you make the offer. She says that your wife wouldn't have been at all happy if she has heard you giving such offers, making such great offers. Gratiano, we know that how Gratiano has always been copying Bassanio in everything. Here he also intervenes and says, I have a wife whom I protest I love. He says, I also am married to a wife whom I swear I love. I would she were in heaven, she says, but I wish that she were dead and in heaven, so she could entreat some people to change this courage due. He says that I expect that she was dead and she was able to go to the place in heaven so that she can mold the hearts of so many people in power on the earth. Nerissa, it's well you offer it behind her back. The wish would make else and unquite her. She says that if at all you would have done it in her presence, she would have got very angry and your house would have been so unquiet. You would have a fight with her that you are saying all these things. Shylock, in the meantime, he says, these be the Christian husbands. He says that these sorts of men are husbands, Christian husbands. I have a daughter. He says that I too have a daughter. Would any of the stock of Barbarus had been her husband rather than a Christian? He just listens to this conversation and says that I too have a daughter, and if I had got that, I would have married her to an uncivilized group, uncivilized man, okay, than getting her a Christian husband, then getting her married to a Christian man. Further on, he goes aside. We have seen this aside. I have explained you a lot of time what it is. He's talking to the audience, his heart. He says, we trifle time. I pray thee pursue the sentence. He says that we are wasting time. Whatever is to be done, do it quickly. Give me my justice. Portia, a pound of that same merchant flesh is thine. The court awards it, and the law doth give it. Portia says that a pound of that merchant flesh which you demand is yours. The court gives you, the court of Venice gives you, and the law allows you. Shylock is very happy, says, most rightful judge. Portia, and you must cut this flesh from off his breast. The law allows it and the court awards it. Portia says that make sure that you cut that from his breast. The law has given you permission, the court awards it. Shylock, you are the most learned judge. A sentence, come prepare. Shylock says that you are the most experienced judge, you are the most learned judge. Come prepare. Portia, tarry a little. Portia just says, pause for a while. There is something else, there is something more. This bond doth give thee here no jot of blood. The words expressly are a pound of flesh. She says that in the bond it is written a pound of flesh. The words are pound of flesh, not a single drop of blood. The words are only a pound of flesh. Take then thy bond, take thou thy pound of flesh. He says you are allowed to have a pound of flesh, have your bond. But in cutting it, if thou dost shed one drop of Christian blood, thy lands and goods are, by the laws of Venice, confiscate unto the state of Venice. Very cleverly, she, very diplomatically, she manipulates, turns the case upside down. She says, you can have the pound of flesh, the court awards you, the law gives you. But while cutting a pound of flesh, not a single drop of Christian blood should be shed. If at all one drop of blood is also shed, all the lands, all your goods, all your property will confiscate, will come under the state of Venice. We have reached the climax. Everything is changed. Gratiano now is too happy listening this. He says, oh, what an upright judge. Mark Jew, listen carefully, judge. What a learned judge he is. Shylock says, is that the law? Is it the law? Portia, thou shalt see the act, for as thou urgest justice, be assured thou shalt have justice more than thou desirest. Portia says, you yourself can see this. You were only pleading for justice. You wanted justice as it is, as urgent justice is. So be sure that you will get justice as you desire for. Gratiano again says, O learned judge, mark you a learned judge. Shylock, I take this offer then. He says that I accept this offer, pay the bond thrice and let the Christian go. He says that, okay, I accept the bond, pay me thrice the amount and let the Christian go. Here also you see that how clever Shylock is. Now he crafty, we can say. He changed his color. Now he says, okay then, if that is the law, he can give me thrice the amount and the bond will be cancelled and the Christian can go. Bassanio again tries to offer him the money and he says, here is the money. Portia says, soft, soft. The Jew shall have all justice. Soft. The Jew will be awarded justice. No haste, no hurry. He shall have nothing but the penalty. What he was demanding for, he will have it. Gratiano again, O Jew, an upright judge, a learned judge, you are so learned. Portia, therefore prepare thee to cut off the flesh. He says that be ready, you can have cut pound of flesh. Shed thou no blood, nor cut thou less nor more, but just a pound of flesh. He says you can shed no blood and you can have a pound of flesh. But remember that it should be a pound of flesh, not more, not less. If thou cuttest more or less, again she puts one obligation that it should be a pound of flesh. It should not be more, it should not be less than a pound. Be it but so much as makes it light or heavy in the substance or the division of the 20th part of one poor scuple. Nay, if the scale do turn, but in the estimation of a hair, thou diest and all thy goods are confiscated. She says that while estimating that pound of flesh, it should not be more, not less. Even there should not be the 20th part, little also there should not be any difference in that pound of flesh or being less or more. Even of a hair, a difference of an hair should not come in the estimation. If at all you do that, you are going to die and all your land's goods will be confiscated. Now Gratiano is too happy. He says, he also repeats the word Daniel. He says, a second Daniel, a Daniel Jew, now infidel, I have you on the hip. Infidel, as I have already told you in the previous video, non-believer or a non-Jew, non-Christian is called an infidel. So he says, now infidel, I have hold you on your hip. Now you are caught and now you will have to reply. Portia, why doth the Jew pause? Take thy forfeiture. Portia says, why have you stopped? Go have your forfeiture. Shylock, give me my principal and let me go. Now he is demanding for the 3,000 ducats. He says, at least give me that and I will return. Bassanio, I have it ready for thee. Here it is. He is just trying to offer. Portia says, he hath refused it in an open court. He shall have merely justice and his bond. Portia says, in front of the whole court, he has refused to have it. He will only have justice and his bond. Gratiano again is very happy. He says, a Daniel, still I say a Daniel. I thank thee, Jew, for teaching me that word. Shylock, shall I not have barely my principal? Shylock says, should I only not have barely my amount? Portia, thou shalt have nothing but the forfeiture to be so taken at thy peril, Jew. Portia says, you will have nothing, but you will have your forfeiture, what you are demanding for on your own peril, means at your own risk. You Jew. Shylock, Why then the devil gave him good of it? Will stay no longer question. He says, let the devil have what he wants. I am not going to have any question further. I hope I have been able to explain it to you, the lines, in the best possible manner I can. So my live class would have been interesting to you. You can ask me questions in your if you have any doubt in the comment section. I will be eagerly replying to you, and I will feel very good while replying if you have taken interest in the content. Further explanation will be continued in the next part of our presentation. Thank you all of you for watching this. It has really been an session which was interesting from my part. I don't know how much interested you were in watching. Thank you.